Hello and welcome to AorbTech. Today we're going to continue series of Pandas, and in this episode we're going to discuss DataFrame. So the agenda of today's meeting, first we will discuss how we can create a DataFrame, then we'll see some very separation while doing update in DataFrame, such as how we can change the index name or column name, and after that we will see a different way to create a data frame such as like dictionary. So let's start with that. So before going to start with the practical of data frame, let's see what is the definition of data frame. So if I explain data frame in a simple way, a data frame is just like a table. So when you see a Excel file with the different values, different columns, either you can see a different CSV file or SQL database, or for example Google Sheet. These all are basically based on a table value. So rows are basically record and column are represent as a attribute. For example, if we have a data house price, and house price we have a column such as a house location, the price of the house, how many bed in this house. So if these are basically attribute. So let's start. So with the practical, before going to start, as we know that we need to import our library. As I already import pandas as pd. Now we can move our practical part, how we can create a data frame. So let's say that I take a variable a and I just simply say that 1 2 3, and after that I am going to create a data frame. So let's say that I just define my data frame name, and simply what I will do here, I will just call my library dot, and because I'm working on data frame, so I will write data frame. After that I will just simply call my variable where I already stored my value a123, and if I run my df, as you can see that we can create a data frame. As I said that 1 2 3, so we create one column with the 3 records. So let's take another example. So let's say that I am going to create df1. Simply just write pd dot data frame, and after that we just simply call your value. Let's say that I'm going to take this time 4 value, and if I run my data frame, perfect. As you can see the results, we create 4 records in the data frame. Either you can create a variable, store the value, and then call into data frame, or simply you can write data frames records directly there. So that's how we can create a data frame. I hope it's clear for you. Let's move a bit advanced part of data frames topic. Let's say that I wanted to create to call data frame, and what I will do here, so simply to call a data frame I would say that df3, simply I would pandas pd, I mean our library, call the name of it, and then simply we create 1 2, and then I say that 3 and 4, and run. And if I run my As you can see that what we did here, we just create a extra bracket. Now if I run it, and as you can see the results, so here we create two columns data frames. So one of them is 1 2 3 4. So if I take create another data frame name of, let's say that 4, and I would say that I just first column I wanted to, let's say that string value, let's say that, and I simply call my string value, and the second record as well I will take a string value. And if I run, sorry, I need to change the data frame, and if I run, as you can see that, so we create another data frame. So our first column is basically a string value, and the second column is basically a numerical value. So that's how we can create a data frame with different data type. Now we'll see how we can create a 3-column data frame. So let's go with the example. I'll say that I'm going to create a 3-column data frame. And how I can create a 3-column data frame, simply here I take 2 records with 2 columns. Simply you just add extra value in both array. So if I show this example, for example, I create one first column with based on string, the second column is basically based on numerical, and the third column is basically represent our float value. And if I run my df5, as you can see that we create a 3-column. By default name is 0 1 2. Don't worry, we will work on how we can change the name later in the data frame, but just focus how we can create a data frame with a different data type and with a different column. So in a first column we create a data frame with string value, the second one is basically numerical, and the third one is basically a float, as you can see. So that's how we can create a data frame, very easy. Now we will move our next topic, how we can update our data frame. For example, how we can change the data type column name, or how we can change our index name as well. So let's work on that one. Now we'll see how we can create data frame with a column name. So let me copy my first example, this one, and let's change his name. So I just copy, and we'll see how we can change the name. So this is my data frame that I create initially. Let me okay, so here I just create our data frame with one column, and let's change the name. So to change the name, you just add extra parameter with the name of columns, let's say that, and then for example I have only one column, so I simply create one values here. Either if you have a multiple column, then you give a multiple name here. Don't worry, we will look into that as well. So if I run, as you can see that my column name is number, and I create a values or record, if I say in other words 1 2 3 4. So this is one of the example. If I say that this is my 2-column data frame, how we can rename it. So if I go with that and simply just call columns, let's say that column 1 and column 2, and if I run, my results. As you can see that we change the name column 1 column 2 with the value. And if I take this example, let's say that, and I want to name it, the first column is basically my string, second column is my, let's say that, um, integer and float. So if I take this example and if I run, as you can see that we simply create a data frame, 3 columns with the name as letter, integers and float, and we have a respective value. In letter we have a string value, in integers we have numerical value, and in the float we have float value 3.5 and 5.6. There's another way to change your column name. Let me show you quickly. So let's say that I create the variable name is a and a store value 123, and I'm going to create a data frame underscore. Simply I just create data frame and I call it, and then as you know that I wanted to change the name, so I would say that column and simply run integers, and if I run my column, as you can see numbers 1 2 3 3. So what I did here, so basically I create a variable and I take array and store a 3 value. After that I create a data frame by calling data frame name, libraries pd, and then I simply call my df underscore dot columns, and then I give the name of those data frame, and then simply I run df underscore. As you can see the results. I hope it's clear for you. Now we'll see how we can change the index name. Let's say that I create a variable b, and then simply I take value 1 2 3, and then I take a data frame name df dot pd dot data frame, and simply I call my variable name. After that I wanted to change the column name, and I said that my columns is equal to name, let's say that number, and then I wanted to change index, so simply you just call the index, and then I say that my index is Roman number 1 2, and my last one is basically 3. So and all set. Oh, let me change into my Python, and if I run my data frame, and I would say that results, and as you can see that we change our index as well. So first we create a data frame with 1 column and 3 records, and after that we change the name. Simply just call columns, and I change the name number, and after that the third parameter that I pass is basically index. I just call our Roman numbers here 1 2 3, and I just changed, as you can see. So here we basically apply a 3-way. One data frame, the second one is basically a column and the third one is index. Now we'll see how we can change the index name in 2 or 3 columns. So let me take this example. For example, I wanted to rename it, as we already seen our two records. So basically, as you can see that we have data. First we have letter, integers and float, and then you have respective two records. I wanted to change 0 and 1 with the Romans. How I can change it? So there's another way, same as column that we change it. I would say that dot index, and I say that my index is equal to row 1 or row 2. Instead of, I would say that 1, 2, and if I run my this one, as you can see that I rename it. There is another way. You can also change the index name as well. How I can do that? I say that simply index name and row ID, and if I run it again, as you can see that we have changed the index name as well, and those are our basically our column with respective values. So I hope it's clear for you. In this topic we see how we can change the index name. Previously we see how we can change the column name. Now we will see how we can create a data frame with a different way. So there's a different way that we can create a data frame. So let me change into Python, and let me write a command first, and I say that create data frame with dictionary. How I can create a data frame? So I would say that data frame df, and I would say pd dot data frame, and I would change another value in the city, and if I run my index, as you can see, so simply you just create a data frame with the dictionary. You simply first let's say that I wanted to take a 3 columns. So first one is basically key, and those are basically to represent my values. The second column, and then my simply represent the values, and the third one is basically represent values. So that's how we can create a dictionary with data frame. It's much more easier comparative to if I say here you basically you first you change the column passing another parameter, then you basically calling the record that we want to take, and then you also do row ID, but row ID isn't that important here. So anyway, it's a more convenient. You just simply call the name of the column as a key and then pass the value as a record, and as many as you wanted to create a data frame, you basically take many key and values in a different columns. So if I take one more example, if I say that pd dot data frame pdd sorry I simply just said that pd dot data frame, and I say that my two columns, the first one is a as a key and the value is 1 2 3, and the second one is a b with the value is 4 5 6, and if I just simply run, as you can see the results. So basically simply you create two columns. First column is a key, pass the value with respective to column 1 to 3. Second value in a dictionary we pass a second key, and then with respect to values 4 5 6. So yeah, that's how we can create a data frame with dictionary. Now we'll see a second method, create a data frame. I would say that with list of dictionaries. How I can create that? So simply I would say that data frame, and I would pd dot data frame, and if I show the results I can explain these results. So basically you simply take a list here, and inside list you basically pass a dictionaries. So for example, I create two columns here. So I this is my first column A, and B is my second column. So I constant the name in a second dictionary as well. So basically I create a key with respect to value, and then I pass another key and value, but this is my second column. So as you can see the results A, B, then we create 1 and 3 value in our A column, and then 2 and 4 in another column. This method is actually much more complicated if I comparison with my previous method with dictionary, and mostly people follow this method. Simply just create a name, and then you basically change the column name as well, and after that you simply create index name as well if you want to do. But this is one is also much more convenient, but if you see this method is like with list of dictionaries, like much more complicated. You basically pass inside list, and then you basically create another dictionaries, and with respective to columns with the keys and values as a record. So let's me see another example. Let's say that I can create another value is pd dot data frame, and I would say that so I would take this time 3 columns, and I said that my A value is my 1, and then I would say that my B, and then I take a value 5, and after that I would say that C, and I would take a 9 value. So if I run my results df1, what I did here, I create a 3 column with 1 row results. So as you can see that we create a 3 column A, B, C with values 1 2 3. If you want to take another one, you simply copy. I would say that passing this value, and I can passing another value, and I just simply create. So you can change the name, but those are values are same. As you can see that we have constant value in each columns. But anyway, this is a way you can create with the list of dictionary. I just simply create 3 columns with 3 values in it. So that was our second method. Now we'll move our last method, which is basically a dictionary of cities. So let's say that create a data frame with dictionary of series. So how I can create those data? So let's say that I create a very simple example. If I take here and if I run, and I will explain this one as well. So what I did here, I basically create another way of our data frame, and this way basically what I did here, I create a data frame with the dictionary of list. So basically I pass my dictionaries, as you can see, and then I take as a key value basically, or let's say that my column name A, and then instead of passing my values I basically create a series. So that's why how we can call dictionaries of series, and then same second way as well. So previously if you see, if I show you this example maybe, so what I did here, I basically create a dictionary and then I passing my values, list of dictionaries. So here if you see this example, so simply you can see that I just passing inside values my series. So as you can see the results 1 2 3 and 4 5 6. So that's how we can create a data frame with dictionary of series. Let's see another example. Let me take a one column only. So let's say that I would say that pd.DataFrame. Okay, so basically I would passing my values here. After that I passing my bracket, and then I small bracket, and if we run my results, as you can see that we create with dictionary with the series, passing dictionaries key as a column A name, and then we have a series 1 2 3. So that's how we create our data frame with dictionary with a series. I hope it's clear for you how we can create a data frame with a different array. In the first one we simply see create a different data frame. The dictionary is simply you basically call inside data frame you simply dictionary with respective to values, basically you represent as key values, and then you have another way with a list of dictionaries where you basically pass your list, and then inside you basically pass those dictionaries. As you can see that we create a two columns with two values. Here we create a three column with the three value. In the last one we see how we can create a data frame with a dictionary of cities. So we simply create a dictionaries, and instead of passing the value we just write your series. As you can see the results. So that was the end of this episode. In this episode we briefly discuss how we create our data frame. First we simply take a few example, and then we work on how we can update our data frame, for example changing the name in the column or index name, and the last we'll see how we can create a data frame with a different way. So I hope it's clear for you. The source code, you can visit our website where you already provided the GitHub link where you can go and download the source code and you can practice of this topic. If you like our video, please like, subscribe our channel for more videos. Stay tuned, and then we'll see next time.